a well, I know you started on guitar and then moved over to bass at some point, but like how hard was it for you as a bassist trying to figure out like what was going on in those earlier albums as it was like mixed down in in the master?
Well, actually, I never was a real guitar player. I've never been in a band as a guitar player or anything. I did have, yeah, I started when I was a real little kid, like learning some guitar, and then stopped that and started playing bass when I was, excuse me, like around 14, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, this is, it's really this kind of music when it first came out, like most of the producers didn't know what to do with it. Um, if you listen to like the kind of bass playing that you'd hear in a more traditional kind of heavy metal band like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, those it's really more tied into the drumming a lot of the time.
Yeah.
The guitars and the bass can be separate a lot of the time, where once you started having the thrash metal thing, like if you listen to Metallica's first few, actually all of their albums really, but I would say actually especially Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, the guitar and the bass are really together, and it seems like they're doing the same riff most of the time. And so that was kind of what we were trying to do. And I think a lot of death metal bands, pretty much everybody, like when you're thinking bass in death metal, you're thinking of someone who's basically trying to play what the guitar's doing as well.
Right.
And you add low tuning into that, which we did later on by our fifth album. We started doing some low tune stuff, and it makes it just that much harder because then the guitars are starting to dip into the bass player space. So yeah, it's been a learning process the whole time. I'm still kind of figuring it out. Like I said, I'll work with the guys in the studio and we'll be like, well, what works here? Me trying to follow the bass part or excuse me, the guitar part, or should I do something simpler, or something a little harder or just something completely different? So, yeah, it's a learning process because it's, there's certain things that are traditional in this kind of music, but overall I think there was a lot of stuff going on that was brand new.
Yeah.
You can hear it in the old thrash, death metal, black metal early albums from the 80s. So you can tell that a lot of the producers didn't know what was going on. Maybe a lot of the guys in the bands weren't sure exactly what would be
Yeah.
the best thing to do musically in each situation. It was just everybody was learning.